Welcome back, and today we will be installing something onto the 4th gen that every truck needs. But first, we have to get the Power Wagon out of the shop because that is going to get loaded up and taken out to Cole Motors later this week to get the 24 valve all wired up and running and shifting. Then it will come back to us and we will redo the upper panhard mount because the one I built for it was hitting the oil pan. I built it for a gasser engine and then they wanted to put a diesel engine in it, so we got to change the upper cross member. We have to still build the drag link for it, sway bars, along with possibly steering stabilizers, a transmission cross member, drive shafts, brake lines, and this one will be ready to drive around. Let's get this out of the shop, push out in the parking lot, and we can pull the 4th gen in to get that on the lift.
They tried to count me out, I'ma gon' count me in. Fill up my bank account, now I got something to spend. They tried to count me out, I'ma gon' count me in. Fill up my bank account, now I got something to spend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just pull it out and count for nothing when I'm feeling great.
So first thing we got is the sump that I'm gonna install on this. And what it comes with is obviously the sump itself, both the fittings for feed and return, the AN fittings that go onto there that the hose is hooked up to, and then the O-rings and a bunch of other goodies. I went ahead now and I installed the fittings that hook up our AN fittings to the sump, which will mount on the bottom of my tank. And I think it has a full tank of fuel. I don't remember actually, maybe it's on E. It's either on E or it has a full tank. Let's look where we're gonna mount this thing, get it mounted, hope we don't hit our sending unit. This honestly looks like it's gonna be a pretty fairly easy install. I've never installed one of their sumps, but I have installed their fuel systems on a 4th gen. And I tell you what, they are very user-friendly and it's not an all-day project. We got instructions, then the wiring harness, obviously our 1/2-inch fuel line, 300 PSI rated, diesel RX, the box of all the hardware, the mount, and the pump itself. Oh yeah, that should look phenomenal. Right here. We'll just bolt it to the side of the cab because it looks so good. No, but we'll probably throw this thing on up inside of here somewhere, right there probably, and then run all of our hoses and all of our lines. Got the mount on the frame. I went ahead and drilled and tapped the frame and threaded these in with washers, lock washers, and a nice stainless bolt to hold the bracket onto the frame. That way I can still run my mini cradle and all that stuff when I lift it, and it won't interfere with anything being mounted right here with the bracket that's on it. Now we can grab our pump, carry this over there, and set it up inside of here. Now our pump's mounted and we can now screw back on our filters. Look at that, good as new. Open up the bag with our wiring harness inside of it. Run this along the frame rail to the pump and up to the battery because AirDog sends you a whole harness in which is already made. So that one goes to the battery. This runs back to your pump and then you plug your pump in and you're ready to go. Now we are running the wiring harness up to the battery. Hang this on the firewall very neatly underneath the truck. I have to cut all the zip ties that hold on this harness to there. Then next we're gonna run the AirDog fuel hose from the pump up to there. And that will go into right here. This will return and this will pull from the sump that we have that's gonna get installed right there. The hose is ran along the frame with the wiring and it's all hung up. Put another zip tie on that. The fuel is slowly gonna drain out of the tank. This is mounted Now it looks like a race truck, and maybe it'll go 1,000 miles an hour and have like 5,000 horsepower, but maybe it just won't start itself for fuel. That's probably what it'll do. And it should run a lot better. Actually, no, I know it will run a lot better because AirDog is the only way to go. All I have left to install now is the sump. We got the fuel lines ran to the engine. This one's gonna go out and underneath to our sump. And then the wiring harness that runs up and plugs into the factory harness is all ran, zip tied up nicely. Went ahead, I checked all the exhaust clamps on the truck because we did just put this 5-inch on there. Everything was still tight. It's a massive exhaust that is on this thing. And I can actually now get underneath of it and work, because when I did the exhaust, I had to do it in that bay on the floor because I think my big truck was still on the lift. But now it's a blessing that I have the lift back and I can actually use it to freaking do things to my truck. And the fuel system is all installed. I'm gonna lift the truck back up and show you guys how I did everything, how I ran the hoses and everything, how I did the sump, and where I drilled the hole at for the sump, because I think it's pretty sick how these sumps work and how easy it was to install. Literally, I probably have an hour into this whole fuel system installing it. I do have a lift, so that probably helps out a lot. I was not doing this on my back, and it took about 10 minutes under the hood to run up the wires, hook up the battery cables, undo the stock fuel system stuff. Now I drilled and tapped the frame, so that took me some more time to make this mount go onto the frame like that. So this is drilled and tapped. It sits really tight to the frame. I didn't have to use the other mount, but the sump is installed, return line, feed line, and I did a little zip tie contraption, keeping together for now until I get something a little bit better. But that looks sick. We're gonna lower the truck down, start her up, fill her back up with fuel, and how much better it runs, and see how better the fuel mileage is on it. I know with my last 4th gen, the fuel mileage increased like a lot, and the truck just ran smoother all the way around. So now we have this fuel system on it. It should be a lot better. So let's get this thing down, fill it up with fuel, and see how she runs. The sump lines, oh dang, they don't hang down like I thought they would, which is nice. So now I won't get caught up on anything when we jump this thing into a pond or into a field. Pump the fuel, let's go. There she is. Oh yeah. Now we're back in business. And dang, it's quiet. Taking our first drive with the new fuel system. For some reason the check engine light's on, so maybe from when it was cranking. I'll probably turn back off, but it feels like it runs a lot smoother. It definitely has restored power, I will say. This thing runs a hell of a lot better now. Now we have the fuel system all done, installed very neatly with the sump onto the Mega Cab, and that means we can now get back to work on the big dually. So I gotta weld up the rest of the control arms, drill and tap all the holes yet still on the arms, and that should definitely be a blast, I would say. I hate drilling and tapping anything. I need to order coil springs, build the mount for the drop box, and get the shocks all put onto it, along with finding what I'm doing for the steering, because I am running a drag link on this thing. I'm not doing hydraulic steering. I'm not having an angle that goes from Earth to the moon. Let's get this thing welded up. We currently have the big truck in the air, as you guys just seen, and I am now welding up the rest of the arms that I didn't finish welding. And I had to get the truck out of the shop, so that's why everything came together so quickly in the last video. But now we took everything back apart. I am finishing the welding on the front arms. Rears are already done. So I just welded all of these. The bar was upside down, so all these welds are already welded. Now I got the bar on the right way, and the inner overlay is on it. looking the right way as well. We have to drill and tap all of these holes still. These ones are done, but the axle truss needs drilled and tapped. This needs drilled and tapped. Everything does. And that's probably going to be the worst part about doing all this. The reason why it's not tapped because my laser shop, their tap actually broke as they were doing my parts. And I didn't want to wait the 3 weeks that's going to be down. So I just took the parts and said I'll tap them myself. And now I wish I didn't take the parts because I probably have 300 holes to tap. And that's not an exaggeration. Along with getting the front upper stuff all designed, cut, and put into the truck. We have to yet still take off the sway bar things from the factory. I'm gonna make a bracket that bolts into here, that comes up, and then we'll be able to run our sway bar out and make that hit the axle very nicely. I'm getting carried away with the 4th gen. And we now have wheels, 2 sets of mirrors. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna load up these wheels into the back of the truck, load up the other tires I have for the truck, take those down to the tire shop to get them mounted and balanced, and hopefully get my sensors working for my tire monitor system inside the truck. I had to squeeze one of the tires in the back seat, and then I got the rest of them to fit into the bed. So there's 4 wheels and tires back there. Okay, no. So there's 4 wheels and 7 tires back there. And there's 1 tire in my back seat. And we are now headed over to the tire shop over by my house to get these things mounted and balanced. And I need to order lug nuts yet still to put them onto the truck. AirDog's definitely putting in work. We're dropping off my 44 footer because she needs axles, maybe brakes, definitely brakes. It needs brakes. And all the lights are now fixed. I fixed all of that. Possibly tires. I might just have them do axles. Axles might be easier. All new axles and all new tires. Possibly some fuel wheels if I can make them work. Unplug this and then unhook our chains. And how about that that unit? My best investment. And we say goodbye to the unicorn at the trailer lot.
What'd you do, Brandon?
You see, the 4th gen got carried away again because stock wheels just got burned off. And then the bed got smashed.
Twice.
Twice?
Twice.
Twice. So I got 22s and 36s on it now. I had these tires laying out back, so I threw them on here. And now it doesn't turn at all. I ripped the bottom of the bumper off right here. So now we'll just lift it. And
how tall are we going now?
5 inches.
50 inches.
No, 5 inches.
55
5
inches.
because
45 inches.
5 because right now you have nothing to drive.
55.5
and this is my
inches.
only vehicle.
No, I bought a bike.
It's winter time.
Yeah, I'm only gonna ride it for like 2 weeks.
Okay, you need this. It's heated. See, it's a Milwaukee heated helmet that I bought for you.
Oh, thanks,
See?
Dad.
Good, I have everything else.
Is that it?
That's it.
Is that it?
That's gonna be.
Can I go home, sir?
Yes.
I have to see my wife and kids.
Yes.
Okay.
And you gotta see Murder Ram.
No, you can't show them Murder Ram.
Okay. Murder Ram is still in existence. Just
It's not. It's dead. It threw
Murder
it away.
Ram's dead. Now
we
it's-
threw it away. It definitely does not have
Now it's
a not 12 valve in it.
now it's
It's-
common Murder Ram. Well, you guys seen the first gen, you've seen the Mega Cab, and now you're seeing a massive Jeep that is being fixed. I think the security system or something. They were telling me, and we have a lot of content coming. And then when the first gen's back from Kohl's, the Power Wagon first gen, I should say, it should be pretty insane. But that's gonna end today's video. Be sure to like, subscribe. Make sure you guys subscribe if you guys want to keep up with everything we do and going to shows, all the builds, everything. Be sure to click that subscribe button down there. Give it a like, comment, let me know how it is, and I'll see you guys in the next one.